Come with me, come with me.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out to our Maundy Thursday drama and cantata. Perhaps the most distinctive characteristic of Jesus Christ's earthly ministry was the impact that he had on the lives of individuals. Many of the most poignant recordings in the Gospels are those moments when Jesus was personally engaged in the life experiences of individuals. Some were healed, others changed their lives and career paths, and some instantly turned from their sinful ways, while others rejected his teachings and had hardened hearts. No one, though, left such an encounter with Jesus unchanged in some way. Tonight's cantata, directed by Pat Edwards, Touched by the Christ, recalls the last days of Jesus' earthly life. It does so, though, through the eyes of individuals who were directly impacted by his ministry. Tonight, you're invited to go with us on a walk, a path toward the foot of the cross. And there we will be met by the one who invites us to be changed by his eternal love and grace. It's a reminder that he who changed the lives of individuals in the first century is still in the business of doing so today. We ask one big favor. Please refrain from any applause for the entire evening. And at the very end of our service, and you'll know when it's over, we ask you to join with us in being silent as we leave the service together. And now our guide, Judy Hatley, will lead us.
Join us as we walk with the Christ on his journey to the cross. Listen to the stories of those who met him along the way. Jesus encountered both friends and enemies on his journey. Hear now the story of an officer to Caiaphas.
Dare not to draw closer to this charlatan, this cursed man upon the cross, the man who thought himself equal with God himself. Be glad to be rid of him. Troublemaker. Rabble-rouser. That's what he was. That's all he was. He's not a Messiah. Much too dangerous a man to be walking amongst decent, God-fearing Jews. As an officer of Caiaphas, I was fortunate enough to be in on the plan from the very beginning. My Lord Caiaphas made it very clear. Better that one man should die than the whole nation follow a blasphemer. And Rome tightens its grip on us again. So we devised a plan to kill him by any convenient means we could. You look shocked. Don't be shocked. We did not raise a hand against that man until he raised his hand against us. You see this whip? Very painful with its leather tails, when swung in anger. And he was angry when he swung his whip as he drove the honest merchants from the temple. That made my blood boil. When we finally found a weakest link, it was a traitor amongst his closest friends. We gave him every opportunity to deny his deity. And my Lord Caiaphas said it very plainly to him. Explain yourself. And he answered. He answered with such insolence. Insolence! I reached down and grabbed him. I pulled his impudent face close to mine, and I hit him hard. When asked, how did it feel to strike the man they called the Messiah? It felt right. And it felt good.
Messiah has come, the Son is
Among the friends of Jesus was one who betrayed him. Hear now the story of his disciple, Judas.
Oh, I came near to the Christ of the cross. I came near with my lips, but not my heart. I came so close as to offer the kiss of fellowship. And he looked as if he could not believe it were possible. I felt compelled to turn away from his gaze, though he fascinated me during those years together in ministry. But I was never truly touched by his words. Too philosophical, too otherworldly. I was looking for a Messiah who would deliver his people in this world, not some future world. Self-sacrifice, that's what he demanded. And that was what I was not willing to give. And yet, he trusted me. The treasurer of our small band. Believe you me, if left to my judgment, things would have been different. Oh, no costly sacrifice of expensive perfume to wipe anyone's feet. How can you justify that? And there were so many other things that really didn't seem like a sacrifice at all, but a waste. Well, like the goodwill of the people. When he came and drove out the money changers, or when he had the opportunity, he had the chance to answer the high priest. And yet he spoke defiantly. And yes, the chance to escape to Galilee. And instead, he walked into the garden to pray, knowing what I was up to. His time with me, it was wasted. Totally wasted. And now that he's been taken to Caiaphas, it's all a waste, a monumental waste. And the 12, well, they're scattered like sheep. My money, my money, and my life. Holy offering, acceptable and true. Teach me to cherish and wholly say as you. Lord, take my life. Lord, is my life. Lord, make my life a sacrifice.
Another friend was one who would deny Jesus 3 times. Hear now the story of his disciple Peter.
If I stir my hand in this bowl, the waves and the ripples will trouble the water. And yet, if I remove my hand, the water falls to peace. With these eyes, I saw Jesus stand in our fishing boat, tossed by the thunderous wrath of an angry sea. With these ears, I heard him say, "Peace, be still." As if he held his hand as if he were trying to quiet a wailing babe. "Shh, go to sleep now, child." The wind and the waves obeyed his voice. Our boat stopped careening. It lay still with puddles sloshing back and forth. He had stopped the storm with his very word. Now a deeper storm rages in the sea of my heart. Wave upon wave, oh agony, for I have done the unspeakable. He foretold that I would deny him. I took him by the shoulders. Not I, Lord. I will never deny you. And yet, before the cock crowed twice at the break of day, his words were fulfilled by the curse in my mouth. When they brought my Lord from trial in the court of Caiaphas, the high priest, he was bound by a rope to be led away to judgment. He searched the crowd for a familiar face. His eyes met mine, and I knew, and he knew, that his prediction was true. When they took him to Pilate, I ran, I wept, for just the night before, he had dipped his hand in this bowl to wash my feet. The master knelt in my place at the table. My mind rebelled. Why should the Christ kneel before a sinful man? He looked at me, and I knew. This child, Christ, you should never bow before a sinful man. I argued with him. No, Lord, you will never wash my feet. Jesus said, if I don't wash your feet, Peter, you will have no part with me. Then wash my head, my hands, all of me. Jesus washed my feet. Oh Lord, you were willing to wash me then. How I wish I could go back with you to the upper room. How I long for you to say, yes, Peter, I will wash you. I will make you clean.
You, my Lord, drew near to me. You washed my feet so I might see that through a humble servant we see grace, your amazing grace. How can your love be so true to me when I am so quick to sin? How can you draw to your merciful side the one who betrays you time and again? Jesus, I bow. Wash my sinful spirit now. A fearful traitor bound by shame.
On the night when Jesus was betrayed, he took the bread, and after giving thanks, he broke it and said, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, he took the cup after supper, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood. As often as you drink it, do it in remembrance of me." All who profess that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God, are invited to partake. We'll invite you to come forward down the center aisles, and please just dip a portion of the bread in the cup, not your fingers, and then you can exit on the sides. Let's be in the spirit of worship.
The journey to the cross was fraught with struggle. Hear now the words of Jesus. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. Come to me, come to me. My soul is overcome with grief to the point of death. Stay here for a while and watch with me. O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but let your will be done. The Roman prefect struggled to condemn Jesus to death. Hear now the words of Pontius Pilate.
Too much has been spoken of this Nazarene, but much remains untold. Puzzling, yes? He drew the attention of many, from the least right up to myself. He even drew the attention of my wife. Yes, Pilate's wife dreamed of the Christ. I have sentenced hundreds of men to hang on a cross, yet only this one troubled the dreams of my household. She said, "Have nothing to do with the blood of this just man." She seemed convinced, as though she had seen the truth. But a man cannot govern by the dreams of his wife. I have spies in all quarters, and I knew that the people called him their chosen anointed king, their Messiah. So I put the question to him straight up as he stood there. "Are you the king of the Jews?" I stared at his bound hands. "You have said it right." He spoke in a humble voice. "For this reason I was born, and for this cause I came onto the earth, to bear witness to the truth, that all who might hear my voice, who seek the truth might hear my voice." That really said it all. This man actually thought that he was the truth. I know a bit about truth. And for one man to say that all who seeks the truth follows him, well, that's a bit too much to bear. What is truth? I could have elaborated. Your truth, my truth, the truth of those whose voices are screaming outside my window. There are many competing truths. But still, I knew he did not deserve to die. I reached out my hand. I touched his shoulder and brought him onto the balcony. I find no fault in him. But thousands of angry voices rang through the praetorium. Would you rather I release him or the criminal Barabbas? And then I did my worst to set him free. I had him scourged so I might arouse their pity. I allowed him to be dressed in a red robe and a crown of thorns so that they would soften. But they would not hear of it. My only revenge is this sign that I had dictated for his cross. Not, "He claimed to be king of the Jews," as they had pleaded it might be, but instead, as he had spoken it, I wrote the truth. King of the Jews.
Imagine the struggle of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now hear her words.
Words? I have no words for what I saw today. The world cannot contain the words that need to be spoken. Can a mother recount in words the death of a child? Can a child of God recount in words the death of God? Yet, I must find words. I watched him as he dragged the wooden cross across the streets. His kindness pinned to the cross. His feet treacherously pinned and dragged to the cross. And his heart, his dear, sweet, pure heart, pierced by their hatred. Yet, for 3 hours, he hung between heaven and earth on a cross. Oh, when he was a little boy, he came running to me with the tiniest splinter. It pains a mother to see the suffering of her child. Oh, it hurts so bad. Yet, with this moment, with this scene on the cross, there are no words. I must find words from other days. The angel said, "Of his kingdom there shall be no end." No end. That's what the angel Gabriel said to me. There shall be no end. Well, if a cross is not an end, then what is it? Simon met us at the gate to give a warning when we were taking Jesus to the temple for dedication. He said, "A sword shall pierce your soul." How could Simon know this? A sword shall pierce your soul. And yet, these were words of comfort to me, as only truth can comfort. The angel had said, "Of his kingdom there shall be no end." No end? I could hear my son Jesus when he was a little boy saying his first words. And I have heard his last words. He was on the cross, and I heard this great moan, "It is finished." It is finished. Your kingdom shall have no end. How can these words stand side by side? I have a box that I've held for 33 years. It was a gift to my baby from a wise man in the East. I held my tiny baby in my arms, his little fingers up to my face, reaching. His little toes wrapped in a ragged cloth. It was myrrh, an embalming scent. And it was wonderful. It gave me great comfort. So many years ago, he touched my face as a child. And now, with myrrh, I touch the face of my boy to anoint him for the shroud.